Cali FPV, thank you for a $5 donation. Do you believe in extraterrestrials? What's your thought on all this alien talk in Congress? I don't think that there's any evidence that the phenomena. I think that there are phenomena that people have observed that they attribute to extraterrestrials. I think that there's no reason to believe, like, if you're going to see an object moving in the sky and say that it was aliens, why would you not say that it was angels or dragons or fairies or ghosts? Right? Well, what is the evidence that a moving object in the sky is an alien spaceship, as opposed to any other number of possible explanations? Like, if we're going to be rational about it, an unexplained moving object in the sky, could it be an experimental aircraft that we don't know what it is? My point is that there are a lot of potential explanations for phenomena that people observe that they attribute to extraterrestrials. And the only reason that they have settled on extraterrestrials is that idea appeals to them and they would like that to be true. And that's not the fact that you would like something to be true and it's kind of fun and exciting to think about doesn't make it true. So then why are we talking about all this bullshit in Congress, like, congressional hearings about ETs? Apparently someone who had some, government position came out and said that there were ETs. Okay. Well, that does, at least there you have evidence. Direct testimony from a person is a form of evidence. It's, obviously there are potential problems with it, but at least you have a person making a claim, and that deserves some attention. But I still think that there are more likely explanations than there's extraterrestrials. Like, for example, there's lots of reasons for people to just make up bullshit and say crazy things. And just because Congress interviews someone doesn't mean that they're not talking bullshit and saying crazy things. Congress interviews a lot of people who talk bullshit and say crazy things. Congress says a lot of bullshit and crazy things. If there were extraterrestrials, why does only the U.S. seem to have them and be talking about them? For example, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of reasons to explain these things other than that there are aliens that have visited Earth and been sort of caught by the government and hidden. But, who knows? You cannot prove the negative. So no one can ever say definitively that the government doesn't have secret hidden aliens. Because by definition, if they were secret and hidden, no one would know about them. So no one will ever be able to definitively say that they don't have them. So in this case, the correct position to take, I think, sort of rationally, is a position of skepticism, but, not outright rejection of the hypothesis. Explain. I'm not going to go into any specific videos and try to explain them. There's a lot, I'm not a video forensics expert. Marcus Weibel, thank you for a €5 super chat. I just crashed my first build with O3 because it lost connection on open field 50 meters away. V2 goggles and controller too. Okay, so RIP, but obviously your question is, why did this happen? And I don't know why it happened. One thing that can happen is that if you've got the O3 powered from 5 volts or 7 volts, maybe you're right at the bottom or below its acceptable voltage range. It could brown out. So you definitely want to power the O3 off of 9 or 10 volts if possible, maybe 12 volts, so that you've got a little bit of buffer space at the bottom of that voltage range for it to stay powered up. But a short range connection loss often is caused by an interruption in power to the unit, not the video itself. So that's a thought. When We would definitely want to check the bit rate and well, you can't check the latency on the O3, bummer. You would definitely want to check the bit rate before you take off and be watching that bit rate as you fly further away just to see what's happening. If you lose link, if you're at 50 megabits per second and then suddenly lose link, that's a different situation than if you're at 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 1, lose link, right? So those are my thoughts about that. Lucas Middleton says, it's a bit random, but I thought it'd be funny to tell you I'm still using your 4-in-1 ESC and your old blue RunCam cameras. I have like 6 of them. Thank you, Lucas, for a $5 super chat. I love it when people are using my gear years after it's no longer in production. It's really gratifying to see people relying on it and still working for you. That's fantastic. Remote IDs nuts. Thank you for a $2 super chat. How much time till F4 processors are obsolete? Well, not Betaflight 4.5, because 4.5 will still support them. So at least another year, which is roughly when Betaflight 4.6 might come out. I would say 1 to 2 years before they even think about being obsolete. And then after that, who knows? Say Word asks, thank you for a $5 super chat. Is analog for 3.5 or 5-inch freestyle dying? Say Word, there was just a survey. I think it was Albert Kim who did it. Hold on, I'm going to find it. I actually posted it in my community page to try and get more votes for him. Albert Kim 9 days ago. I don't see the number of responses, but it's 5.7 thousand votes. That's a lot of votes. Almost 6,000 votes. Which video system do you primarily fly or prefer to fly the majority of the time if you own more than one system? DJI 40%. Walk-Snail and HD0 a little less than 10%. Analog 34%. So I think analog is probably a little more prevalent in the smaller sizes. But overall, analog and DJI are clearly what most people are flying. 74% of people are flying either analog or DJI. And by the way, can I point out to you, DJI is ahead of analog. In the past, I've said I think that DJI is more prevalent than analog, and I've gotten a little flack for that. But this survey, which is just one survey at least, suggests that I am right, which means that I will believe in it more than I believe in something that suggests that I am wrong, because that makes me feel good and feel smart.